So metric is nothing but a measurable number, something you can count, something you can calculate, something you can measure. That's a metric. As a product manager, if you have to find out if your product or feature is going in the right direction, then you rely on this particular indicator. Some interview questions. All right. So welcome everyone. Today we are talking about key performance indicators. And this is actually one of the most important concepts in product management. So as a product manager, if you want to think clearly or make better product decisions, or even sometimes if you're appearing for a product management interview, the interviewer is going to ask you questions about KPIs. So it is important that at least you understand the basics of KPIs and how you can use them in your day-to-day product work. And in the last session, I mentioned that as a product manager, you're not hired to build products. A lot of people think that product management is about just building products. As a product manager, you are hired to make better product decisions. So on a daily basis, you will be making 10, 11, 12 decisions. And most of these decisions will be about not building something. So as you grow in your career, become a senior or a principal or a lead product manager, most of the decisions that you will take will be about not building things. And on what basis do you decide you should build something, not build something? That's basically where KPIs actually help you. So we start with the agenda for today. We'll start with understanding what metrics are, because metrics are the fundamental blocks for key performance indicators. So it's very important that we understand this term. Then we will look at what is a KPI. So how do you define something as a KPI and how KPI is different from regular metrics. Then we will understand the concept of leading and lagging indicators. And then what is the difference between leading and lagging indicator, and in which situation you should use leading and in which situations you should use lagging indicators. Then we do some real world case studies. For example, we will look at a food delivery app like Swiggy or Zomato and think about what could be the KPIs for that kind of an app or a product. Also look at WhatsApp or some fintech examples. And then I'll give you 4 or 5 interview questions related to KPIs, most common interview questions that we will try to solve together in this session.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So then let's align on one simple word, metric. I think we all use this word quite often. So metric is nothing but a measurable number, something you can count, something you can calculate, something you can measure. That's a metric. So for example, your weight is a metric, right? You can actually measure your weight. Your height is a metric. You can measure your height. Your temperature is a metric. You can measure or calculate your temperature. Heart rate is a metric, and velocity. So a number which describes something is a metric. If you can count it, if you can calculate it, if you can measure it, it's a metric. Now in product management, instead of weight or velocity, we will measure things like revenue, right? Active users, retention, conversion, churn. Now let's look at this list, right? These are all legitimate product metrics. So on the left side, you have a bucket called growth metrics, and it has things like new users, sign-ups, app downloads, customer acquisition cost. Anyone here who knows what customer acquisition cost is?
It's I think the overall spending that we have on a first-time user, a marketing ads campaign, and through those campaigns when a new user is onboarded, that would be your customer acquisition cost.
Yeah. So the cost that you spend on acquiring new customers, isn't it? So if you're launching, for example, a mobile application, then you might want to run some advertisements on Facebook or YouTube or on Google Ads, for example, and then you will spend 1,000 euros to run those advertisements, and you might end up getting 100 users, right? So if you spend 1,000 euros and you got 100 users on your app, then the cost of acquiring a new customer is 10 euros basically. Then in the second column, we have revenue metrics. So revenue in itself is a metric. Average revenue per user is a metric. Lifetime value is a metric. Lifetime value comes into picture when you have subscription related products, right? So if you have, for example, a product like Netflix, and if you are paying 15 euros per month. Conversion rate, very famous. And then we have engagement metrics, right? Daily active users, monthly active users, how long is the session for active users, and what is the feature adoption rate. All these can be measured, can be calculated. So these are all metrics. Now, a question to you, which one of these is a KPI or can be a KPI? I still have not covered what a KPI is, but just asking.
Conversion rate to me, and revenue.
So Chetan, what you're saying is revenue
in revenue metrics, for example,
And conversion rate. Okay.
conversion rate and the revenue. And for engagement, daily active users, it depends on the context though as well.
Yeah, all these are measurable.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like all of these qualify for the KPI.
Mm-hmm.
And again, depending upon like the organization's appetite, they can pick and choose which revenue they want to track through.
I think all these are metrics. KPIs, not all can be KPIs. And for KPI, it should be something that is directly linked to the success of, the product and the business and the users.
Okay. So if I give you the business success, or if I define the business success for you, then you will be able to pick a KPI accordingly. Is that what you're saying?
I think it should be both business and users.
I would rather say growth, revenue, and engagement would be KPI.
And why do you think growth, revenue, and engagement are the KPIs?
Just to segment it.
Segmented. So these are more segments. Okay. So themes, you can call them themes, but not KPIs, isn't it? They're not. But I think you all make a valid point. If I have to explain this to you, then any of them could be a KPI. It depends on what we are trying to solve. Remember, it always depends on the context. So question to you, what is the real mistake product managers make when they track product metrics? Tracking too many metrics, vanity metric, or not connecting metrics to business goals, copying competitors?
I think all of them are mistakes.
Okay. And let's say if I'm instead of asking real, I call what is the bigger mistake? Sorry for my handwriting.
They monitor too many metrics, but they don't monitor the outcome.
So they are not able to connect these metrics that they are monitoring to the actual business outcome, right?
Yeah. C, not connecting metrics to business goals.
So Dolly says it's C, not connecting metrics to business goals. Okay. Anyone who disagrees with these two options or thinks that there is another answer? It is perhaps also tracking too many metrics. It is perhaps tracking metrics that are not connected to business goal. But remember that as a product manager, you are responsible for making those 10 to 15 good quality product decisions every day. You are not there in the organization to just build things. You are there to make good product decisions. So you should be able to have matrix as part of your toolkit, and you should be able to connect these metrics to the business goals that the organization have, or the product goals that the organization have.
So, Anupul, basically all the options given here, if we dissect them, they boil down to just one thing, that these are wrong only if they don't match our business values or business goals.
Indeed.
Because, for example, the tracking vanity metrics, in itself, it is not a wrong metric, but if it doesn't add to the business goal, it is a wrong metric. So I think all the options just boil down to one question: does it add business value?
Yes. It all comes down to that business value.
The answer is yes. It's a good metric. Yeah.
Okay, then moving on. I think it's also a nice segue for us to define what a KPI is. So what makes something a KPI? So let's break down the acronym. Indicator, right? So KPI is key performance indicator. Indicator means it signals direction. It indicates whether your product is going in the right direction or not. Then performance, as Ishan also mentioned, right? In the end, it comes down to connection with business outcomes or the product outcomes. So it measures outcome. And key means, of course, there could be multiple metrics connected to the business outcome, but this one is the key metric that we are talking about. So a KPI is a metric, so it's part of the metric word. A KPI is a metric that directly measures progress towards a business goal. As a product manager, if you have to find out if your product or feature is going in the right direction, then you rely on this particular indicator. Now let's make it more concrete with an example. Let's say you're building a subscription-based fitness app, right? So you have a fitness app and it's a subscription-based. So people can use this fitness app free, but can also use some premium features through subscription. You are the product manager of this app. The business has given you a goal. The goal is to increase paid subscription. Sometimes the business will give you the goal, sometimes you will come up with a goal, right? So assume in this case, you have a goal of increasing paid subscriptions. You are tracking app downloads, you're tracking free signups, you're tracking workout completions, you're tracking revenue, and you're tracking paid conversion rate. Yeah, these are the things that you're tracking. These are the metrics that you're tracking. Which one of these would be the KPI for you?
Paid conversion rate.
Paid conversion rate? Okay.
I mean, I have a question though. Does this paid conversion rate mean subscription bought?
Yeah.
At the end? Yeah. Okay.
So people who are converted could also be like, how do you define conversion? Sign up could also be a conversion, right?
Yeah.
So
paid
conversion is somebody who's converted after paying X amount of money as a subscribed user.
Isn't that one paid conversion?
Paid conversion rate? Yeah, because it's quite simple, right? If you can track paid conversion rate, then this one metric will give you the indication that you are going in the right direction or not, especially towards this particular goal of increasing paid conversion subscriptions, isn't it? But what about revenue? Why is revenue not a KPI for this? Because if your paid conversions are increasing, it should also show in revenue or not?
It's shown in the revenue, but then revenue is a bigger picture of all the users that are already paid customers.
Yes. So revenue is also a KPI in this situation for a bigger context. But for this particular context where we are focusing on increasing paid subscriptions, paid conversion rate is a more accurate indicator to track our product success. Okay, let's make this personal then. Maybe it's even easier if we do it this way. Let's say your goal is to become healthier overall. Yeah, you want to become healthier. And these are some of the things that you are tracking. Steps per day, calorie consumed, hours of sleep, gym sessions per week, your body fat percentage, your weight, your resting heart rate. Tell me which one of these would be the KPI for you if your goal is to be healthier overall.
Body fat percentage?
Body fat?
Yeah, so, I mean, I can't pick one.
You cannot pick one. Okay.
Yeah, like for me it would be body fat percentage and weight overall to track.
Okay.
If I go on a calorie deficit, calories consumed.
Yeah. Swaroop, what do you think? Which one would be a KPI for you if your goal is to become healthier overall?
I would like to have this certified by the doctor, not just framing the metrics on own. Yeah. Yes, I feel the hours of sleep is something which I feel is the goal for this.
Right. Hours of sleep. So if you are able to sleep more than you are, or sleep better than that translates into your health, overall well-being.
Right.
Okay. Ishan?
I think everything except body fat and weight can be a KPI.
Okay. Interesting.
Because body fat percentage depends on the individual if he's trying to lose or gain weight. But then it depends on that. And weight, I don't think is a good KPI because you cannot rely on weight individually to track your wellness and health. Because if you're trying to build muscle, your weight won't change, but your body fat percentage will go down and you'll become healthier, but it won't reflect in your weight. So your weight won't change, so it is not a good KPI.
Uday, do you want to add something?
I would say primary KPI is body fat percent and hours of sleep, and I'll keep the rest of them in secondary KPI.
Nice. So for you, it is about hours of sleep, isn't it?
Hours of sleep and body fat.
This is a classic example where we all gave different answers, right? Why did that happen? Because the goal was not properly defined. What does healthy mean for you? For you, Uday, maybe healthy means something else, and for me, becoming healthier becomes something else. For me, it might be about my body fat. Maybe I'm able to sleep well, everything else is functioning well, but my body fat is high. So the message that I want to give you here is KPI that you choose will always depend on the specific goal that you have. And if the goal is not clear, then first step should be to make the goal specific or concrete. So I was expecting one of you would ask me this question that what does healthy mean here, right? How do you define healthy? Is it about body fat? Is it about weight? How do you define that? So first you have to define the goal and then you choose. If the business goal is vague, then as a product manager, your responsibility is to make sure that the business goal becomes specific or concrete before you actually find the right KPI to track. Now I have color coded these KPIs. Some of them are in orange and some of them are in a shade of yellow. Do you see some similarities here? Steps per day, calories consumed, gym sessions, hours of sleep. And do you see some similarities in body fat percentage, weight, and resting heart rate? My question to you is, can you directly impact steps per day? If you walk more, can you increase your steps per day? Yes, right? You can. Can you directly impact the gym sessions per week? So let's say if you go 5 times, you can impact. This is in your control. You can do it. Can you directly impact your body fat percentage?
Not directly.
No, right?
Can't guarantee.
You cannot. So it's an outcome of things that you will do. If you sleep well, if you walk every day, if you go to gym, then there might be a chance that your body fat percentage will go down. So this takes us to a really important concept of leading and lagging indicators. So leading indicators are metrics that can predict future outcomes, but they don't guarantee, it predicts. Lagging indicators actually show what has happened. So leading indicators are related to input or activity. They can influence results, but they don't guarantee them. Whereas lagging indicators are related to outcomes. They will show you what has happened. They will give you the actual result. If you control leading indicators, then there is a very high chance that you will be able to change what will happen. So for example, in the world of product management, if you are building a product, a leading indicator could be feature adoption. If people are adopting the feature that you have created, that's a good sign that, okay, people are actually using it. But it doesn't guarantee that this particular feature is going to have an impact on increasing the revenue for your business or for your product. It doesn't guarantee. It gives a signal because there are other factors also playing in. All right, exercise time, leading or lagging. You are the product manager for a food delivery app. Yeah, you are, let's say, Swiggy or Zomato or Thousbuzz or Uber Eats, and you want to increase the orders delivered per month. So let's say last month through your app, 100 orders were delivered, and now you want to increase it to 140. Which one of these would be a leading indicator for you, and which one of these would be a lagging indicator for this particular situation? And I think the context is clear, right? You want to improve or increase the orders delivered.
I would say the first two monthly revenue and order delivered are lagging indicators, and rest of the four are leading indicators, because rest of the four are in your control.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bingo. So monthly revenue, does it show you the final outcome? Yes. But can you control it? No. So it becomes what? Lagging indicator. So just to summarize, first order completion rate, repeat order, average delivery time, and app installs are the leading indicators. Monthly revenue and orders delivered are going to be your lagging indicators. Clear? Okay. But if you have a question, just shoot.
Anukul, can you just explain how the last four are in app input?
Yeah. Uday, do you want to explain this?
I consider the first two are lagging indicators. The first order completion rate you can control by giving them let's say 60% discount. So it is still I would say controllable. For first time users, if you offer 60% or 70% discount, you can still control it. Yeah. That's why I say that.
Yes. And does it have an influence on the final outcome? Does it have an influence on the final outcome of orders delivered monthly revenue? The answer is yes, right? So if you change first order completion rate, it will have an influence on the final outcome.
So just to confirm and summarize, so if we see the last four, first order completion rate, this, suppose we have a control, we can advertise or provide some discount. Repeat order within 7 days, again, something on the app, like a notification that can help the user to order again. Average delivery time, that's again our, from the business perspective, we can optimize. And apps install also, again, notifications or referral programs. So this all things we can control. So they are leading and they are impacting the monthly revenue.
Yeah.
And that's the lagging indicator. Because if we have a checklist, like not checklist, but a guidance, that's something which we can control or not, then I was having this question whether if this is controllable. And if it is, then in that context, only revenue I feel is the lagging.
So controllable is one thing, but also think about, does it show you the final outcome or does it have an influence on the final outcome? If it shows you the final outcome, then it becomes lagging. Does it have an influence on the final outcome? Then it becomes leading. Controllable is one thing, but it also has a relationship with the outcome. Is it influencing the outcome or is it showing you the final outcome?
Yeah? This is showing me the final outcome.
Yeah. Right? So then this becomes a lagging indicator for you. All right. So far we have spoken about metrics, KPIs, leading indicators, lagging indicators. Now let's put everything together. The structure that you see on the screen is what we call a KPI tree. At the top, you have a business goal, and I always say clarify the business goal. If the business goal is vague, your KPI tree is going to be vague. So clarify what the business goal is. So here the business goal is clear. You want to increase monthly revenue. So you will define a primary KPI, and the primary KPI would be orders delivered per month. And then you will try to influence this primary KPI through a set of supporting metrics. For example, first order completion rate, average delivery time, restaurant availability, etc., etc. So this structure is like a tree, right? You have monthly revenue on the top, then you have orders delivered, and there could be other KPIs in the first level, and then these KPIs will have another other supporting metrics. So it's more like a KPI tree kind of a structure. So let's say the orders delivered per month are dropping by 10% every month. You cannot fix that directly. So you will look at which particular branch is weak. Is the first order completion rate weak? Is this particular thing going down? Or is this particular thing going down? Or is the restaurant availability going down? And then you will identify that particular branch which is weak, and then you will try to fix it. Start with business goal, then list the primary KPIs, then list down the supporting metrics, find where the branch is weak, and then you go down and fix it. Some interview questions. So there are 4 that I could pick. What KPI would you define for a product like WhatsApp? So let's say you're designing WhatsApp or you want to measure the success of WhatsApp. What KPI would you define? Second is WhatsApp is launching a new feature. Channels, what KPI would you track? Then we have a digital payment app like PhonePe, Paytm. What would be some of your important metrics that you want to track? And you're launching a new buy now, pay later. What KPIs would you define? Who wants to explain? So from group of Dolly, Uday and Ishan.
Uday, do you want to go ahead?
Yes. We thought of 4 goals: habit formation, engagement, retention, and conversation density. And we thought of metrics like daily active user, monthly active user, number of messages sent for DAU and MAU ratio. And our KPI, we decided that what are the meaningful conversations by daily active users.
And how would you define meaningful?
I mean meaningful, I mean not forwarded message, but the text messages, and not forward even images, not even forwarded images. So we would call them as a meaningful conversation.
So what is the core problem that WhatsApp solves? It is basically communication between people. So it could be peer-to-peer, but it could also be one-to-N, like in a community kind of a setting. It is easy, it is fast, it is reliable, it is free, right? On internet, basically.
Yes.
So number of messages, as you said, definitely is a KPI that you would like to track. Within that number of messages umbrella, you want to track meaningful and non-meaningful conversations, right? Or messages. And the daily active users. So daily active users multiplied by, because engagement is also, I think that's correct.
Monthly active users, I mean their frequency, how frequently they are visiting
it. So churn rate is not very high and people are not leaving the platform. So
and even for density, we would like to capture the metrics, how many sessions you open in a day by each user.
One of the things that you could ask, if you're in an interview situation, one of the tips that I can give you is ask clarifying questions, right? Ask clarifying questions towards the interviewer. Like, okay, WhatsApp, but WhatsApp is very big. Can we narrow down our focus on one particular feature of WhatsApp, the core feature, which is the messaging functionality? And then you narrow down, on a problem statement and then start defining KPI. But what you did is correct in this exercise. Yeah. Okay, Chetan, Swaroop, your group?
For us, the KPIs, basically, the question was WhatsApp is launching a new feature channel. What KPI would you track? That's the second one. We said that a number of channels created and backed by the active usage of those channels.
Yes.
It's actually the adoption rate of the channel.
Yes, adoption rate. Yeah. Is the feature being used? That adoption rate should give you an idea whether the feature is being used. So adoption rate is one. Then from a business perspective, you would like to have more channels, right? Number of channels. So how many channels are created in a particular time duration? You can define that as a month or a week. And then within that channel, what is the engagement? So you will say active users, for example, and the number of messages. And then you try to organize in a tree kind of a structure, which one would be your main and which one could be your supporting KPIs. But the thought process is correct. So you have identified the key metrics. Okay, I'll send this slide to you all so that you can also practice the other two. For example, you are the PM of digital payment app, or you're launching a new feature like buy now, pay later. look, in an interview like situation, it also depends on who your interviewer is. If he already has an answer in his mind and you are not able to give that particular answer, yeah, he will not be happy. But there are also good interviewers who would like to have conversation with you, who would like to understand your thought process. All right then. Next Sunday, I have a webinar on prioritization. I'll talk about RICE, ICE, impact versus effort, Moscow, and Kano model. If you would like to register, I'll share the link in the email with you. Please register, and I'll be happy to have you with me. And I also want to tell you that you are now part of this Product Initium family, right? This is a family. We are growing. We are doing it for free. The more people join us, the better it is for our network, but better it is for us. We learn from each other. And if you have ideas about topics that you think are more important, send it to me and I'll try to cover those also as part of our Sunday family meeting.